All right. Good morning. Vote in the poll question while we got about 30 seconds, and I'm going to go ahead, and there's a piece of hair. I'm going to go ahead and get started in my peripherals. All right, good morning. I am Dr. Donna Thomas Rogers. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today, we are going to be talking about cognitive fitness, cognitive activities, and then we are going to participate in some cognitive activities. And I know that you all are going to enjoy that muy bueno very much. It's going to be awesome, awesome, awesome sauce. So on your own, go ahead and inhale and exhale 3 times just to let the body and the brain know we are about to get into it. Okay, so here's the deal. Initially, we started the week and I was talking about all of the lobes. I found out that there are 5 to 6 frontal lobes. That's number one, so I'm still doing research. And secondarily, after I started talking about the frontal lobe, I then went to what I thought was going to be the occipital lobe. And the information is the information. Good morning. But it wasn't, I couldn't connect it to personal accountability, so it was more informative. So I'm still doing research on the lobes to make it so that, be well, sweetie, to make it so that it matches and it goes with personal accountability and it goes with mental workouts. So just to know what it is isn't enough for me. There's plenty of people telling you the functionality of the lobes, but how do you take that information, apply it to real leadership, the 74 principles, as well as the theory of personal accountability, so that you can use it to your advantage? So how do I turn it into a tool that you can use? That's the part that I'm working on. So I haven't neglected it. I have been doing the research, and I just haven't found the information that makes the light bulb go off and go ding. And now I'm ready to go to say this is when you're activating your occipital lobe and how you can use it to your advantage. So it's on the back burner of the stove, sitting on low, kind of percolating before I can actually serve it to you as a meal or a side dish. Now, having said that, today what we're talking about is cognitive function, cognitive fitness, and cognitive activities. And so what is cognitive fitness? And if you're new to the live, this is an online lecture. Go ahead and grab some note-taking materials, because I'm going to talk about the brain, which is why I have my brain t-shirt on. I want you to think about your brain, but then you're going to do some activities as well. So I belabor back and forth with what I was going to put on my mental fitness or my use it, but then I opted for this so that you can see a brain today. Okay, so cognitive fitness, it's a state of optimized ability to reason, remember, learn, plan, and adapt. And I'll say that again for you taking notes. Cognitive fitness, a state of optimized ability. Optimized, okay, so that's best. Optimized ability to reason, remember, learn, play, and adapt. Got it? Okay, so you're going to plan and adapt. Play is the word of the day. So it's a state of optimized ability to reason, remember, learn, plan, and adapt. That's cognitive fitness. So if you've already answered the poll question, your answer is your answer, and now you have the definition of it so you can understand it. And it's mental workouts are the key to cognitive fitness. Mental workouts are the key to cognitive fitness. So mental workouts, okay? So you can't go watch a football game and say I'm mentally working myself out. If you're watching people physically do something. So you can go, but it's not a mental workout. And you can alter the physical makeup of your brain by learning new skills. That is why at the end of every live, I ask you, what did you learn today? What did you learn today? So that you can physically alter the makeup of your brain. You can create new neural pathways. So, what did you learn? What did you learn? Carl Munger, rest in peace, was Warren Buffett's business partner, and he said, "Go to sleep wiser than when you woke up." That means your anticipation or your expectation for your day when you wake up every day is, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to learn what to do, what not to do, things that will help me become my best, things to stay away from. That's the objective, is to learn something new every single day that you are here. So you go to sleep with all your amazing new information and you wake up refreshed to apply that information. Next, the more cognitively fit you are, the better equipped you are to make decisions, solve problems, and deal with stress and change. The more cognitively fit you are, the better equipped you are to make decisions, solve problems, deal with stress and change. When you wake up, you are making decisions all day long. You are solving problems all day long. Even if you just, what am I going to eat? Man, do I got to go to the store? I don't know if I want to go to the store. Let me see if I'm going to fix this. Even on a day of relaxation, you're still solving problems. If you have a household of people and they're there and you're trying to have a quiet day and they don't want to have a quiet day, now you have to sit down and say, listen, I'm going to have a quiet day with or without y'all. No, you're not. But you're going to have to solve problems and then deal with stress and change. And so the principles of real leadership that go with this are, when you're dealing with stress, eliminate stress is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and embrace change. So those two together are going to help you deal with whatever you need to deal with on a daily basis. So the more cognitively fit you are, the better your brain works for you. The more you learn, you change how your brain is working and operating, and it allows you to become your best. And then finally, for cognitive fitness, it will help you be more open to new ideas and alternative perspectives. So people that have a fixed mindset are not changing their mind. You always have that old head in the room. Yeah, I don't know. You don't be over here with them smartphones. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't need to talk to Alexa and Siri and all that. I change the channel myself. I ain't got to do all that. I walk up to the TV and I change the channel. Don't need all that. This antenna with this aluminum foil on it is working fine for me. You don't need all that computer stuff. That internet is coming from the devil. You're over there doing all that. You don't need to know robots. And so that person then tries to go and make a medical appointment and needs you to come help them do all of those things because of their resistance to change, because they don't want to hear an alternative perspective. I am always interested when I meet someone and they have a different opinion of what it is that I do. So my daughter has several clients who are in the industry from a woman perspective, and I'll leave it at that because I'm not trying to get, oh my gosh, she's talking about that. And they are some of the nicest people that you will ever meet. That is their profession. That is what they've chosen to do at this point in their life. And by no means we're like, I'm not going to be, because no, it's just a different perspective, because people are people. But at the end of the day, a person with a fixed mindset with conformity bias and confirmation bias is the reason why. And they have on fully clothed too. Yes, they are fully clothed. Got more clothes on than these women walking around. Anyway, I move on. Move on. Yes, they are. Nicest, kindest, that will feed you and all kind of things. Amicable and just very simple to work with. Not have had a problem with them ever. Have had a problem with a bunch of other folk, but not not them. Yes, sweetest, kindest people we've met. Have about 10 of them. Yes. And you wouldn't know it. I mean, there are some indications at the house, but overall, you wouldn't have a clue. It's Vegas. Everything's legal here. Anyway, so basically different perspectives than you, and open-minded to things. There's so many things now that I know how to do, and experiences that I've had with me. Just if I had to kept my Detroit mindset, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would still be living in Detroit with a wrapped hair, well, probably a weave at that point, but same hairstyle from many, many moons ago, doing the same exact thing that everybody else is doing. Probably still going to Craig Memorial Tabernacle or Unity Baptist Church or Word of Faith, or one of those churches that I used to go to, and be doing the exact same thing every single day. Yeah, but I'm not. And that's awesome, because I don't have a fixed mindset. So again, in summary, cognitive fitness is helping you optimize your brain so that you can use your brain how you want to use your brain, so that you can become the best version of yourself every single day for the rest of the days that you are here. That is cognitive fitness, okay? Is your brain physically fit to do all of the things that it needs to do? And so if you go to the gym, you think about it, there are people who have strong legs and they're pressing 600, 700, 800 pounds, and they got these little bitty skinny arms. Or you got those people with those big arms, little bitty skinny legs. Or you got the ab person always walking around with their abs out, letting them know when they can't pick up an envelope with them weak ass arms. The whole goal is to be physically fit. And as I mentioned the other day, my daughter and I had 2 cabinets and a desk to put together, and the wife said, "Wow, you are really strong. All that stuff was heavy." And I said, "Yes, we're stronger than we look. So fuck around and find out if you want to. You be in traction somewhere." Side note. Anyway, the point is that your brain is a muscle, and it's your responsibility to use it and strengthen it. You actually have the ability to strengthen it. And because I was a former executive officer in a basic training company, I'm going to help you strengthen your mind, because pain is just weakness leaving the body. So we're going to have a little bit to do, not a lot of pain. No, I want you to still be able to function for the rest of your day. However, it is necessary. I wish I could do some front back go mental workouts for people. Drop 1, 2, 3. When I was in the Army, and I was an HHD commander, if I didn't think that the workout was strong enough, I'd say guest instructor, and they go, "Oh God." I come up to the front of the formation, do a little smoky smoke, and then go on about my day. One of my favorite exercises was the flutter kick, because people have weak abs, and so I wanted to strengthen their bodies, because the core is where everything happens. So that's my core. I haven't hit my stomach in a minute, but that's how strong my stomach is. Even with the surgery, I still have a 6-pack. Side note. All right, so cognitive activities. Here's what we're getting ready to get into. So what are cognitive activities, Dr. Donna? I'm glad you asked. So cognitive activities are mentally, yes, and I used to, okay, side note. So with the flutter kicks, Regina, because the military, you have to keep your head up and your hands flat. And I would count slow, because I would do 4 counts. So 4 counts for anybody who's not been in the military means it's 1. So I would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, and that would be 2. So they hated it. They literally hated it. They'd be like, "Come on, LT, stop. Neck muscles coming all out and everything." I'm like, I told y'all, you gonna work us out, or I'm gonna work you out. Which one you want? So, and then needless to say, afterwards, we'd have several weeks of not needing to do that again. Experience is the best teacher, but that was from 13 months of training privates. Okay. Cognitive activities are mentally stimulating activities that engage the brain. So cognitive activities are mentally stimulating activities that engage the brain. So examples are learning, problem solving, and decision making. So how you do anything is how you do everything, as I mentioned yesterday. So in order to strengthen your mind, you need to do cognitive activities. And those activities are learning, problem solving, and decision making. And when people say, "Oh, I don't like making decisions," we were at appointments with my daughter, just like you decide, "I don't want to make a decision. I don't want to make a decision." That's no bueno. And what that means is that your working memory is not working. And so as a result, you don't want to prioritize. You don't want to sit there and do PEMDAS, order of operations, on how I want to make these decisions. And then people start making decisions for you. And then you get mad at them for making a decision, but you don't want to increase your decision-making muscles. So you get what you get. So there are people who don't want to learn. There are people who don't want to problem solve. And there are people who don't want to make decisions. And then that's when their unaccountable asses come to you for your decision-making, problem solving, and your learning ability. Anybody got people that for me, used to do that? So you over here mentally fit, and then your reward is unaccountable employees, employers, family, friends, and people you don't know, strangers, and everybody coming to you, asking you for information. And I'm like, what was you doing with your weak ass brain? Go ask the commentators on motherfucking CBS for the whole Sunday that you've been watching. You done devoted your life to football season. Go ask one of them. Go, you done watch the Real Housewives of everybody. You done watch every golf tournament, PGA Tour from the time you was born till yesterday. And now you want me to help you with your decision making? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You've been on fucking game streaming, watching somebody on YouTube play Fortnite, and now you need me. I no, go ask the person that you had to finish on. No. You've been doing that good gossip. You've been sitting there just gossiping. Ask the National Enquirer for some information. That's who you go. Don't come asking me. All y'all sat around and tied one on and kicked it and played dominoes and everything else and Yu-Gi-Oh cards and euchre and all of that, and you done went and got all this gardening information, and now you can't solve your day-to-day problems. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having hobbies. That's not what I'm saying. But if you spend all your downtime not learning, not problem solving, and not decision making, and then now you need to problem solve, decision make, and learn, that's on you, boo boo. I'm not the Sahara Library. You're not coming to borrow some information from me only to not return the information back, tell me how it went or nothing else. Absolutely not. If you got you can fix your brain to do all the TikTok dances. You can do that. You can listen to 75 fucking podcasts a day. Ask the people on the podcast. Go ask the alpha males about it. Go ahead. Go ask the conspiracy theorists what you need to do to solve your problems. That's what you can go do. But you're not about to come ask a personally accountable person. Absolutely not. No. Go ask your people. All of y'all. Y'all all think alike. And now it's time to have a good decision. And can't nobody make a decision about anything. Can't nobody solve simple day-to-day problems because you've been over here watching fucking Duck Dynasty on repeat. Get a duck call. Whack, whack. That's what you can do. Not helping you with that. It's mental. It's cognitive fitness over here. So you can do some cognitive activities in addition to everything else you're doing, or you can see if them activities are going to transfer over to cognitive fitness, and most likely they are not. They are absolutely not. But you're not going to be borrowing my cognitive fitness while you over here being cognitively unfit. Okay? All right. So cognitive activities. Number 1 is learning. I forgot to highlight that. So learning new skills such as language or an instrument can help expand your horizons. So learning new skills such as language or an instrument can help expand your horizon. I can't. It was impromptu. That was my line name, promptu. So I can't with a whack. I don't. I don't know how to do it. My daughter probably does because we call her City Sippy, since I'm from Detroit and my ex-husband is from Mississippi. So she's a nice little hybrid. We call her City Sippy. Okay, so expanding your learn, and I would like to add reading to this. Now, there are plenty of language apps out there. I've tried a couple of them. The one that I stick to the most, that I have a 1,500 and some odd day streak on Duolingo, it'll be 3,056 days. 1,500 is the Bible app, and it's actually 1,600 now. So over 3,000 day streak with Duolingo. That is my recommendation if you're going to learn language, especially since the app has expanded immensely. Okay. Problem solving is the next one for cognitive activity. So learn a new skill. Yesterday, I put together on my own 4 drawers for nightstands using the electric screwdriver unassisted. Okay. So I'm old school and I was holding on to my $15 DeWalt screwdriver until it just would not work anymore. And so that was growth for me because, first of all, if you read my book, I didn't assemble anything back in the mid 2000s. So I didn't put together hundreds of drawers manually, but it is time for me to up the ante. And so I sat there in bedroom by myself and I put all 4 of those drawers, and Miss Nola did not have to come at one point and save me from myself. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I didn't do anything. And I just put those drawers together because can makes the impossible possible. So kudos to me. And I had to do, what was it, 4? And then it was 10. So it was 14 screws per drawer. So that was a lot for me. And we'll continue to do some more today if we have things that I can actually do. So learning a new skill helps the brain. And so when you're learning, you're in the frontal lobe and you have to be focused on that thing that you're learning. It's not going to be muscle memory. It's not going to come from a long-term memory. You actually have to be where your feet are. So that's the other reason why you learn something new every day, because you are focused. You are where you are, and you can't be in the past. You can't be in the future. You have to be present. So you're doing that workout, that new workout. The next one is problem solving. So you can use puzzles, riddles, or mathematical challenges that can help you sharpen your mental ability. So every time we do PEMDAS, we are actually problem solving, which is what I said, which is what helps you with your working memory. And you can get up to 7. So higher intelligent people can get up to 10, but you can take 7 things in at the same time, process them, and then put them in priorities of work. That's why telephone numbers used to be 7 digits. Now it's been added with the area code. So problem solving, puzzles, riddles, or mathematical challenges can help you sharpen your skills. And so I'm going to be using 2 of those today. We have a riddle and PEMDAS today to help you with your problem solving, because I'm here for you to strengthen your mind. I want your cognitive function to be supreme. And then we have decision making. So selecting a course of action or belief among several options. And so you will also participate in decision making. I went over to TikTok and took one of my poll questions from over there, and you will participate in decision making as well. So language is another activity. Understanding and expressing thoughts and feelings through speaking or writing. Understanding and expressing thoughts and feelings through speaking or writing. That is the reason why, because initially, way back in 2014, I used to do Zoom. Zoom been around for a minute. I was grandfathered in at that point. I had read about it in the Wall Street Journal and signed up for it way back in 2014. I don't need it anymore because I don't do this anymore. But once a month, when I was strategically advising, working my way to this, once a month, I sat down with my clients and did Zoom conferencing for 30 minutes at a time. And the rest of the time they were writing. So we were working on things. It was for business owners and leaders, and it was helping them. And then I transitioned because, first of all, anyway, when you know better, you do better. But what I have found is that because we don't write letters anymore, because we can text in short term and all of that, people's ability to effectively communicate, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, has diminished. Again, 9th grade reading comprehension level back in the day, and now it's down to a 6th grade reading comprehension level, because with the AI, ChatGPT, the internet, and everything else, you don't necessarily have to communicate effectively, but your brain needs you to be able to speak and write for cognitive fitness. So see how that works. So where is the line? And I got some of this information yesterday from AI generated information as it put it all together. And then I didn't have to go to each individual article. So everything, as Monk used to say, the TV show, is a blessing and a curse. So nothing is evil, neither evil or good, evil or bad, until people enact their own actions on it. And that's what turns it into something. Money by itself is neither bad or good. And then it's what people do with it. So it's what you do with this new technology that makes it a good thing or a bad thing. So understanding and expressing your thoughts and feelings through speaking or writing. So it is how you implement it. So ChatGPT is not going to help you process your feelings in the moment. You can't say, hey, ChatGPT, how am I doing? Alexa, how am I feeling today? Siri, how am I feeling today? That's not going to work. So your brain has to process how you're feeling in the moment. We literally, and I mentioned this before, took a different route home, and I have a video that I'll post today, and was the other side of Red Rock, and you couldn't even tell that you were in Las Vegas anymore, but we were. And so I had some PTSD moments, and because I was like, oh, this shit looked like when I was in Alabama, when I was in Missouri. I'm like, whoa, we just was in the city and now we're not. How the hell did we get all the way to St. Roberts, Missouri, and all we did was turn a corner? And so I had this moment where I needed to express how I felt. And so their technology was not going to help me process something that happened, because PTSD sits in the amygdala. So I was able to talk myself down and say, okay, so you're having a little moment and it's happening in the amygdala. Let's process what's taking place, which is why I recorded the video, so that I could get back into my frontal lobe, because we had more appointments for the day. So that's the language. I started speaking to myself because I needed to calm myself down and go on with my day. That is the reason why you express your thoughts and feelings through speaking and writing. That's why all of the challenges that you are in, you express yourself through speaking to yourself and then through writing. So most of the things that you get from me are auditory or visual, and now you see them and then you process it. And the reason why that is, in case anybody is wondering, is because it's your voice that you are hearing when you start responding and have takeaways and action items So I'm not telling you what to take away from whatever it is that you're seeing. I'm not telling you when you get the video challenges what you need to actually say and do. I'm not doing that. You are. Because now you're having this moment with yourself because it's personal accountability that you would have never otherwise had if I had kept doing Zoom calls. If I had kept speaking in person, then you don't get this personalized experience to become one with yourself. So if anybody's wondering, well, why is everything through email? Why can't we get you live? Because you don't need me live. You need you live. You need me to have already created it because I said, okay, let me make this so that when you see it, you will have the response that you need to respond to in your community. So yes, everybody ends up watching the same material, but everybody ends up with a different reflection because I'm not telling you how to think and conform to this way. I'm saying, how does this apply to you where you live and at this stage in your life? Okay. All right. So language, written and verbal language are extremely important. Now, the next one is symbolic play. So symbolic play is using objectives to represent other things, such as pretending that a block is a phone. So as a former stand-up comedian, I do it all the time. We will, telephone used to be this and now telephone is this because no one is still doing this. We don't, I mean, we still have a landline, but who still has a landline? Not a lot of people. So it's anytime you're using objects to represent other things, such as pretending that a block is a phone. So anytime you can do that, that symbolic play is tapping into your creativity and it's giving you the ability to go and do something that you wouldn't normally do. And it's saying this represents something. So if I go check, 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 1, 2, 1, 2, Mike, is this thing on? Yeah. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Detroit Red and we in the house today. When I say, hey, you say, oh. Now this is a crystal that one of my daughter's clients gave to us, but I turned it into a microwave because that's what's available for me in the process. So start to do that, challenge yourself to use symbolic play and see how that goes for people, for yourself and for the people that are around you. And you can use it as a different way to communicate. The comics do it all the time with the microphone and a chair. Tony Roberts and Cat Williams are very good at it. They're physical comedians. And so they will turn that stool into a swimming pool and just act like they're pushing an invisible grocery cart through the dispensary. So that's symbolic play when you see it happening. The next one is reasoning, a complex cognitive function that includes planning, problem solving, and spatial processing. So you can do that when you are driving. When you are driving, you are reasoning. Okay, this person is this far away. What is my safe stopping distance? How do I ensure that I get into this parking space correctly? Those are when you're combining cognitive function and planning and problem solving all at the same time. The next one, and there's two more, the second to the last one is perception. So processing information from a series, registering it, and retrieving it as needed. And so, for example, I will use this as an example. I'm going to try not to, because I always use criminal examples. So let me, for this live, my perception of the brain has changed since I first started. If you go, it's a couple videos of when I first started versus now. And so I am changing my perception of the brain every day that I gather new information and I give it to you in real time. What happens in research is you do it in a lab, isolate it away, you got some control groups and all that, and then you publish, you sell it to university, you give it to the university, you sell it to the government or the corporate America, and then it gets watered down. By the time you get to it, it might be old and archaic, which is why I don't like textbooks, because the information is old as hell by the time that you get to it. Noah said, what is that one for driving called again? It's perception. And so we can review it today as you have a long trip to the other side of town. So it's processing information from your senses, registering it and retrieving it as needed. So you're processing the information. And so I was processing as we were driving through those mountains and I was registering, this is reminding me of something else. Let me go retrieve my information from the amygdala, because that's where the PTSD resides, and let me have a different outcome. So you're processing information from your senses. So if I smell pine oil, hold up, that means I'm back at basic training and we're buffering the floor and we got to clean up before Drill Sergeant Boatwright and Drill Sergeant Silver get back in here on Sundays for laundry day. Now, what do? I'm no longer there. We don't have any pine oil in the house, and so we use alternative methods. But it is processing information from your senses, registering it, and retrieving it as needed. So if you're driving and someone brakes in front of you, okay, I see them braking. I have to start braking. Let me see what else is happening. Leave myself out. Use the five keys from the Smith system in order for you to process what's taking place. Okay. And then cognitive activities, that's it. So now I'm summarizing it. Cognitive activities can help reduce the risk of cognitive decline. Cognitive activities can help reduce the risk of cognitive decline. They can also help you adapt to changing conditions and perform your job more effectively. So that is why you need cognitive activities. So I've presented to you cognitive fitness, what it is, and now cognitive activities are how you increase your cognitive fitness. And so to put a nice little bow on today, we are now going to do cognitive activities. But before I move on, do you have any questions about anything that I have reviewed? Because some of what I said, you're getting ready to apply in real time, which is the beauty of being the person who has created the theory of personal accountability and everything else, because now we can start using it right here, right now. Right here and right now. Now my coffee is cold. Okay, so reasoning is a complex cognitive function that includes planning, problem solving, and spatial processing. So make sure you have that. And so what I'm going to do, if this is okay, I'm going to use an example in my daughter's business. And you don't have to assemble nothing, Regina. So here's what happens. We are in a tight room and we need to put together a king size bed in a room that shouldn't have a king size bed in it. But these people want a king size bed. Good morning, Lola. Okay, got it. So Lola's working. So what we have to do is from a spatial processing, that means that we don't have enough space. So we can't, so spatial processing is I know where my nose is. I can find my nose even if I close my eyes. So we have to know where each other are in this process, and we have to be able to unbox a king size bed, which means it's going to get really big before it just gets big. We have to take all the boxes. I usually have to cut them in the hallway. So that's going to require planning and problem solving. How do we take the slats? Because the slats for a king size bed are huge. How do we put the sides? And if it has an LED component, the headboard. So how are we taking this small room with this big thing and putting it together in a timely fashion, clean up and take a photo? Sometimes she's standing on top of me, hiding back from that. So it's how do you take this very complex thing? So you need reasoning to do that. So how am I going to get this thing done in order to accomplish what I need to accomplish? So you're using planning, problem solving, and spatial processing to get that accomplished in a very small time. So if you're on you're on an airplane and you're trying to get to your seat and now you're like, excuse me. So it's using all of those systems. So you're going to have to use logic and reason to get that accomplished. Please let me know if I've clarified it. Regina. Okay. And Kevin, decision making. So you're selecting a course of action or belief among several options. And so I didn't want to give that one away because we're actually going to do a decision making question. So hold that, put a pin in that, Kevin, momentarily. And then after we answer the question, then I'll go back to decision making. But in general, it's let's say this. And they've used this, I think I got this example from Biology, the book Buyology on how, okay, thank you, Regina. So Biology is a good book on how people make purchases. So I told you all that corporations use colleges to do research so that they can present things to you so you will purchase. And so Biology, Buyology, is a book that's designed to tap into your brain in order for you to make purchases. And so what Biology determined was that if you give people 6 or more options of something, they will be overwhelmed and they won't make a decision. But if you give them less than 6, so if you go to the peanut butter section, especially back in the day before we had more store brands and organic and all of that, but if you just go to a 7-Eleven and you look for peanut butter, you're going to have 1 to 3 options. Choosy Bombs, Choose Jif. You're going to have Skippy, and maybe a store brand. And with those 3 options there, you're going to make a decision based upon the 3 options that are there. Now, price point could be a factor, and if it's too much, you can be like, yeah, fuck it, I don't need peanut butter. So that's basically taking a course of action based upon things that are being presented to you. Let me know if I've answered your question. So you have several options, and now you're going to make a decision. And one thing that I learned at Frito-Lay, I learned a lot at Frito-Lay. I quote them quite often. But because I was a FOM, a facilities operation manager, and a zone operations manager, we were responsible for hiring vendors. And what I always had to do, whether it was CapEx or just getting the cleaning company to clean the buildings, we needed 3 competitive quotes, always. And so I use that now no matter what. Somebody's coming to do work on a house or whatever it is, we're trying to find good contractors, independent contractors or vendors. We get 3 competitive quotes. And what I like to do is tell them what the other person said automatically. You're not the only one. I did this in dating. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. We got options over here. So what you bring it to the table? If I was being an alpha male. So at that point, when you're making decisions, that's why you make the most informed decision possible, because you have enough information. So don't do anything without a strategy, because it's going to impact your daily decision making. So the more information you have, the more informed choice you're going to make day in and day out. Any other questions before we actually start doing the cognitive activities? All right, and if you haven't done so already, go and vote on the poll question. So the first one today is a riddle. And yeah, haven't done a riddle in a minute. You're going to have 1 minute to solve it. And here we go. Here is the riddle. I'll read it twice and give you a minute. Oh, we put it together. We always put it together. We're always in some tight ass situation. We rarely, if 100%, if we use the scale of 100%, and Noah's probably going to correct me on this, I would say 92% of the time we don't have the correct amount of space to assemble things. 92% of the time. It fits in that space once it's assembled, but not while it's being taken out of the box. And a lot of these these furniture companies want you to prep everything first. So what Noah ends up doing is modifying the manual so that we can put it together based upon the amount of space that we have. But it's rare that we have an empty room. It's rare. Yesterday we started working on a client's 5th Airbnb, and so we put together 5 beds, 3 nightstands. 2 nightstands just needed to be unboxed, a dining room table, and 4 chairs. And I think she'll correct me, about 6 hours and 15 minutes. That's unboxed, staged, and everything. Boxes cut, trash done, and everything. But the house is empty right now, so we have the ability to do that. But it's a rare occasion when, and we put together 2 twin beds, a full, a queen, and a king. So every size bed that can, no California kings, but yeah. So it's never enough space. It never is enough space, especially if people are living in the house already and transitioning rooms. Sometimes we got to disassemble something to put something else back together again. So we are definitely using reasoning a lot. Okay, so here is the riddle. What 5-letter word typed in all capital letters can be read the same upside? It was just 6 hours. I apologize. So it was 15 items in 6 hours, and boxes cut door to door. There you go. So 5 beds, 5 nightstands, and 92% is accurate. Thank you. So 5 beds, 5 nightstands, 4 dining room chairs, and a dining table. Okay. So what 5-letter word typed in all capital letters can be read the same upside down? What 5-letter capital word typed in all capital letters can be read the same upside down? I'll say it one more time. It's a riddle. What 5-letter word typed in all capital letters can be read the same upside down. You have 1 minute to solve the riddle. Thirty seconds has passed. Forty-five seconds has passed. Okay. This riddle was on the easier side according to and I didn't get it either. So I'm being honest, I didn't get it either. But the answer is swims. SWIMS. So if you type swims in all caps and flip it upside down, it still says swims. And this was one of the easier ones. So I used to do riddles a couple months ago on TikTok, and I will continue to do that because your brain was like, what in the hell? What is this? And again, that riddle goes to back to because problem solving. Problem solving. So go and amaze your family and friends and talk about that today and see what happens. Swims, how was I supposed to guess that? That don't even make no sense. How was that supposed to take place? Swims? What in the 5-letter word? Okay. Next on the list is decision making. So, and this question came from my TikTok live, which is a standard question over there now because how do you figure this out? You didn't. That's the whole point. But what you're doing is that portion of your brain for problem solving is going to start figuring riddles out. So just like with the anagrams, again, you're focused on the language and redoing the anagrams so they can help with memory retention. That's what it's doing. It's exercising that muscle. And you said you knew it was going to be something like that. So the whole point of riddles, some people are just really good at riddles. That portion of their brain is just really good. And some of us are like, yeah, I got nothing. And so I am not good at riddles, which is why I started doing them, then again had to switch over to some other things for the sake of time on a live. But so just so you all know that these cognitive activities that I'm bringing to your attention are going to be a part of the lives going forward. So you will understand now. I will be referring back to them when we have that activity so you can understand, because this is a mental workout. So you should leave saying, woo, that was a workout. Man, my brain feels different because it's going to be stronger. Remember, initially it might be cognitive overload. Then you will become accustomed to it. And then you will be searching for some new cognitive overload or new things to learn. And that's what it's there to do. So it's these small little simple things that make you think like, but it's actually rewiring the neural pathways to that portion of your brain or creating a new neural pathway if you never were someone who solved riddles. Okay, so the next question is decision making, and you're going to get 4 options. I'm going to say it twice, and then you pick your option and explain your answer. So decision making. Which one do you value the most? Decision making. Which one do you value the most? Reading, learning, growing, or changing? Which one do you value the most? Reading, learning, growing, or changing? You have 1 minute to select your answer and the reason why. Which one do you value the most? Reading, learning, growing, and changing. Twenty seconds. 35 seconds. 45 seconds. 55 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Time. Okay. Nola, you said growing because you have to do all four to do it. Reading, learn, and change. Kevin said reading. It is the effect of the other two. Regina said, I value growing because I want to expand my cognitive abilities. And my answer is reading as well, because reading will make me learn, grow, and change. So now the results. Yes. So we all had and Kevin and I had similar answers, and then Nola and Regina had similar answers, but for different reasons. And so this is an example of decision making. And so when you're not experiencing biology and you just decide to make a decisions, all are interconnected. Yes. And so that's the thing, is that I picked those answers on purpose, because now you have to decide, well, they're kind of all the same. So if you go and look at peanut butter, it's kind of all the same. So what would make you pick one versus the other? Is it on sale? Is it crunchy, creamy? Does it have high sugar? Do you want more sugar? Do you not? Is it oily? Do you have to stir it because it's organic? So then you start looking at personal preferences at that point. All things being the same, price being the same. Now you have to start saying, well, which one? Do I care? Do I just do eating, meeny, miny, mo, process of elimination? That's what makes decision making more challenging, because unless some outside entity forces you into a decision on your own, you can actually make personal choices. But if the family's like, but I like Jiffy, but I like Skippy. When I was married, we had two different types of steak sauce. Heinz 57 and the other one. I can't think of the other one right now. I see the label in my head, but neither one of us like the same steak sauce, and so we had both of them at the same time. What was the name of the other steak sauce? It's escaping me. Anyway, that's the whole point, is that when you're making decisions for yourself, start making personal decisions for yourself based upon preference number one, and then facts. So if it's a taste thing for you because it's food, or aesthetics for me, if it touches my skin, it has to be soft, or I'm not going to put it on. Thank you, Army, making me sleep on wool blankets, and I'm allergic to wool anyway. So that's what the A1. Thank you, Kevin. That's what it is. So I liked A1. He liked Heinz 57, and so we ended up with two types of steak sauce in the house as a result of that. So when you're making decisions, if you have to make major decisions, as I've always said, get a piece of paper, pros and cons, sleep on it, and make the best decision possible. Always be objective in all of your decision making, because when you do that, people can't come back and talk you out of your decision without new information, new logic, and new reasons. Now you understand why you are making those decisions. And it takes personal time with yourself. The more people you have in your life, the harder it is for you to make personal decisions, because you got to keep making group decisions, because the group just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so when you have a small retinue, a small circle, now you have the ability to still be yourself, and you don't get lost in groupthink. And then that gets you to being double speak and double think, if you read 1984. So decision making is very important for the brain, and it causes you. A1 is the better side. That's my child right there. Take my side. Don't take your daddy's side. No. Anyway, no, it's not like that at all. She does a bunch of sippy things that I definitely would not do. She puts ketchup and destroys meals that I make all the time, and just does all kind of stuff. Eats it cold. And anyway, but that's her preference. And so as long as the food is eaten, then there you have it. Okay, so now we're on to the last two. We're doing problem solving for math, order of operations. Get ready. Get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready, get ready. Your change to come. Okay, so here is the math problem. I'm going to give it to you twice, and then you have 1 minute to solve it. And here we are. It is 4 plus 16 divided by 4, open parenthesis, 72 divided by 9, plus 10, close parenthesis. Say it one more time. 4 plus 16 divided by 4, open parenthesis. 72 divided by 9 plus 10, close parenthesis. You have 1 minute to solve your problem. Twenty seconds has passed. Thirty seconds has passed. Forty-five seconds has passed. And time. Okay. What are your answers? Kevin and Regina, you have a 144. Nola, do you have an answer? Because I'm about to reveal the answer. You got about 1, 2, 3. Okay. The answer, and that is correct. I've never had a problem with you finishing food. Okay, so the answer is 76. And here's what has to take place. So inside those parentheses, you need to do 72 divided by 9, which is 8. And then you have to do the plus 10, which is 18. From there, you have to next do the 16 divided by 4 is 4. And then you need to do 4 plus 4. I'm sorry, yeah, 4 plus, then you have to do the 4 times the 18 is 72, because now you got to go in order of operations. So you would end up with 4 plus 16 divided by 4 times 18. So now you have to do the 4 times 18, 4/5. Okay, now I'm told, okay, let's do this again. First thing you do is the 72 divided by 9 is 8. Now you have the 8 plus 10 is 18. So the problem would then be 4 plus 16 divided by 4 times 18. The next thing you do is order of operations. So you would do 16 divided by 4 is 4. 4 times 18 is 72. 72 plus 4 is 76. So that is the answer. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the poll question results. All right. And the poll question results are, be honest, is your brain cognitively fit? 54% of you said no. 45% said yes. So 11 votes. And Kevin, I think that's a light bulb moment for you. I can't tell. So what's your answer to the poll question? Explain your answer. Again, we have 54%. You got it? Got it. Okay. Kevin, why do you keep typing messages and deleting them? What's up with that this morning? So the poll question is, are you cognitively fit? The answer, 54% said no. 45% said yes. Explain your answer. I will say, I'm going to say yes. I am cognitively fit, because there's no way I would be able to do the amount of things that I do on a daily basis if I weren't. And I'm not talking about the routine tasks. I'm talking about all of the new things that I do on a day-to-day basis. If I did not have cognitive fitness, there's no way that I would be able to accomplish it. Now, do I reserve the right to get stronger? Absolutely. Yes. And that is what happens. If you do one minor mistake, it changes the whole outcome. And that's why we keep doing our order of operations. So after you explain your answers, I will ask one more question. I say yes because I use it all of the time for complicated stuff. Okay. Regina and Kevin, what's your answers? I think I'm getting in shape. I've been on the lazy couch a long time. That's an honest answer. And I would say I can improve my memory. I would say the older you get, the easier it is to not have cognitive fitness because you know a lot in theory. You've been here a long time, so you have a lot of information. And what incentivizes you to learn more information? You're like, I don't need no more information. I got enough information. I've learned enough. But it's that memory. So if you sit, as Kevin is mentioning, you're on the lazy couch. If you're sitting on a couch for a year and then you get up, you might injure yourself just trying to go get a snack out the kitchen. So the same thing happens with your brain. If you haven't used it, now you got to actually think. You like, shoo, come on, brain, think of things. Come on, brain, think of things. Now, my question to you before I give you the word of the day and we close out is this: what have you noticed since you've been doing PEMDAS about your navigation through days, day in and day out? So it's designed to increase your working memory. So have you noticed an increase in your groupthink is a real thing? Oh my God. I get it. You know what, Kevin? No pressure, because now you're gonna have me making sure I say some stuff that you didn't know was a real thing. So you be like, and that's a real thing. And that's a real thing. Are you kidding me? That's real too. So have you found your working memory increasing as a result of doing the PEMDAS? And it's okay if you haven't. I just want to know. I'm checking in. And Kevin, the information that I sent you, I know you said got it, but the follow up to it is have if you've read it and looked at it, then you follow up and say this helped, this didn't help. So yesterday, as you were saying, you're stealing from me. You thought you were, and I said you weren't. I need the feedback on the material so I'll know if I need to create new material or if that one is still given what it was supposed to have gave. So the question on the table is, have you even thought about if the PEMDAS is increasing your working memory? Is this thing on? Remember, if you're thinking ... Check, check, 1, 2. Microphone check, 1, 2. What is this? Doctor's Donna's in the brain business. No. Told you I can't rap. I haven't currently seen a difference because I'm still touch and go on executing PEMDAS correctly every time. Got it. We will keep doing it. Thank you for the honest feedback. I will say that you actually have, though, because even as we were driving past the Whole Foods, you put all that information together, the new Whole Foods, and was correct when we got to the store. So the ability to process that while you're driving to assess what was taking place and that they're going to take the people from the current store and put them over there, they're moving it to closer to the house. All of that was actually PEMDAS because you're problem solving. It's hard for you to tell, although it's easier for you to remember Zelle codes and PIN numbers. Okay. So here's what I will say, and Kevin, if you're typing up. So let me explain how this works. So the PEMDAS is designed for you to use it, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, order of operations, is to see a situation and then decide in that situation where the parentheses or the brackets. Because that's the first thing you got to do. There are no parentheses or brackets. Okay. Is there any exponents? No. Okay. Let me do the multiplication. Yes. No, the reverse osmosis would not be working memory because you've never done a reverse, you've never taken apart a reverse osmosis machine. So everything that you did, so you had a problem and you look to see what was happening. You searching the lines, taking a picture of the back, going on a Costco website to see where it is, draining it out, and all of that. So that was order of operations because you had to pick, stop the water leak, turn everything off. Now, detach everything, put everything back, and shut off the water to make sure that there is no leak. So you are actually using PEMDAS for that because PEMDAS says, if I don't do this in the correct order, I'm gonna get the wrong answer. And so the fact that there was no water all on the kitchen floor and everywhere, and we didn't have to call a plumber, that's what that means. Would it be this? Would what be that? So does that make sense? So when it's not necessarily I'm doing math over here. It's the concept of it. So I'm looking at a situation. Yes, I'm looking at a situation and I have a problem and I need to solve the problem to get the correct answer or the solution. So that's implying. Yes, it did. So the PEMDAS activity made me stop taking the live lying down. That is correct. Got it, Kevin. So it's the problem solving. Yes, that's what we're doing. So while you're not actually solving math, the concept of PEMDAS, that's what you're doing. What do I need to look at first? What do I need to look at next? What do I need to look at next? What do I need to look at next? Because I need to solve the problem. And if you've solved the problem, then you've used it correctly. If you didn't solve the problem, then you've used it incorrectly. And so you go back in your steps as you've gotten the answer incorrect for math, you go back and say, where did I mess up? Yes, it's the application of the skills of PEMDAS, not necessarily looking for math problems. Don't go around, but it's the order. So this is the closest thing that I have to you being able to use your working memory to solve problems. So I'm using that. And so what I'm actually doing is it's basically symbolic play. So we're using PEMDAS for problem solving. Does that make sense? And Kevin, thumbs up if you understand what I'm talking about the stuff that I sent you yesterday, so that I know, because we're going to go off today, and I will have to get to emails when I get to them today. I still need to stretch and shower. Okay. We have the last thing. There's two things left. So play is the word of the day. Got it. Play is the word of the day. And in this regards, the definition that I will be using is this: to behave or conduct oneself in a specific way. To behave or conduct oneself in a specific way. And you're going to use the word 5 times today, but here is the caveat to it, or here is the parameters. You are going to assess how you play. And the PA for today and the Real Little Brain, which you all will get to at some point in the future, obviously have to keep creating more content because then you'll get to it. And as sometimes people were with me while I was creating it, and that doesn't bode well for me because I'm like, oh, I gotta hurry create this. So now there's distance on the Real Leader Brain and the PAs for today. Like I said, there's over 200 of those PAs for today now, about 50, 60 something Real Leader Brains. So the point is that when you get to it, this information, I'm planting the seeds right now. So again, the definition of play that I'm using today is to behave or conduct oneself in a specified way. Use the word 5 times, and here's the thing that you're going to assess today and be ready to answer this tomorrow. Do you play it safe? Do you play not to lose? Or do you play to win? Do you play it safe? Do you play not to lose? Or do you play to win? So just observe yourself for today. And tomorrow, if you're here, be ready to answer that question. Play it safe, play to lose, play not to lose, or play to win, because that matters. And I will make the connection to personal accountability and real leadership tomorrow. Now that all of that is done, again, play to behave or conduct oneself in a specified way. Play it safe, play not to lose, play to win. Use the word 5 or more times today. What did you learn today as we close out? Oh, that's how I ended up not writing the time down. Now I got it. And friendly reminder, if you are thinking ... And some of the information that I received today was from PubMed. I have to say that in there. You need to work on solving riddles. We all do. Have no fear. Dr. Donna is here, the Riddler. Yes, so we will. And that was on the easier side. I saw that riddle. I was like, what the hell do hard ones look like? If this is easy. And some of them were the ones that we all know. So I didn't use those, or common ones. So I did pick one that was somewhat in the middle. And that's the interesting thing about always be growing. That I know, right? There's always more room for learning. And I've never, with the amount of education, how many books I've read, and everything, always be learning, because the brain is a muscle that needs to be exercised. So challenge yourself is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and it's there on purpose for you to keep challenging yourself. Because I mean, I was bored in the military by year 3. I was bored at Frito-Lay by year 4, because it was just chips on the truck. It's just soldiering. So there was nothing new. It's like, how could y'all do this for 20 years? This shit is boring as hell. We're just waiting to see if something happened and go put some battle rifle on and go take care of some shit. But garrison, this is kind of very much boring. That's why I have so many certifications and stuff. It's like, they're like, who want to go train to me? Me. We need a me. Sign me up for it. I don't care what it is. Yes, I'm going. Dallas, yes. Going. So, yes. You got to go to headquarters. Me. Give it to me. Because this right here ain't going to work. Nola, that I am problem solving. I thought because my driving skills sucked that I wasn't improving in that I was improving in that area. Go to bed smarter than when you woke up. That's correct. So, Nola, again, what you're working on is defensive driving. So that's what you're working on. Are you a good, safe driver? Yes. You are working on the defensive driving because we have so many people here, and your mom is detail oriented. Your driver instructor is detail oriented. And so this is a person who had at one point 3 different driver's licenses. So had a Korean driver's license, civilian driver's license, and a military driver's license all at the same time. So I'm teaching you to be the best. So the standard of excellence for your driving is higher because of who your driving instructor is. That's what that's about. And it's also because of the micro skills that you're going to develop by paying attention to those things. So now that your cousin is off to college, you had some more time freed up. And so, you know me, I'm going to take that time and have it focused on something else because I like torturing you. No, because because it is my responsibility to lead by example and always be challenging you, because otherwise the idle mind is the unaccountable person's workshop. I don't want to say devil because that's not who's doing it. It's people that are doing it. So as always, ladies and gentlemen, here's my thought process and we're going to get out of here. Personal accountability is the business. It is the solution. It is the cure for what ails you. It's the cure for bringing out the best in who you are. It is a personal choice that you make on the daily basis to say, I'm going to be my best regardless of what's happening in the rest of the world. I'm going to be the best version of me that I can be, because it is just me versus me, you versus you. That's how that goes. And you are embarking upon this challenge yourself to become your best version of yourself. And as you continue, the more personally accountable you become, the more critical the people around you become. So they will either jump on the personal accountability bandwagon with you, or they will be trying to throw shit in your way in order for you to get off. But remove obstacles is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And there will come a moment, and I'm going to use Get On Up as this example. So when he was with Little Richard, he said, baby, they're going to ask you, oh, what do you want? And you going to have to tell them. And so it was time to part ways with the Blue Flames. And James Brown chose himself over that. I'm going to tell you, baby, there's going to come a time when the unaccountables are going to say, pick unaccountability or pick personal accountability, because you can't have both. And you are going to have to make that decision. 90% of the people pick unaccountability. They pick Maslow's hierarchy of needs, level 3. I want to be in my Stuckmily because it's comfortable. But they don't pick it because they want to be in the Stuckmily. They pick it because they don't believe in themselves, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. That is actually possible for them because of the lack of what? Cognitive fitness. They do not believe that they have the mental endurance to do what it takes to hold yourself personally accountable to be the best day in and day out. So they use the Stuckmily as a excuse, which is a reason wrapped up in excuse to convert back to old behavior. So it's the law of diminishing marginal utility. It goes up and then it goes back down, and personal accountability ain't sexy no more because it's a lifestyle. So if you don't continue to challenge yourself, if you don't commit to this and say, this is what I've chosen for the rest of my life, you will go back to Cheese Station C and you will sit down with him and you will start gobbling up moldy cheese, and then you will make personal accountability a distant memory because you can't have it at the forefront of your mind and still be stuck in a comfort zone. It's virtually impossible for that to take place. So personal accountability is it for me until the day after I'm no longer here. And whoever is here until the day after I'm no longer here can pass it on to the people coming behind me, but I'm not going back. I'm not reverting back because there's nothing back there for me. So there are people this time last year who were on the lives that aren't. There are people this time in 2023 that were on the lives and are not. And perhaps you'll be there in 2026 and maybe you won't. But I'm going to, if you saw nothing else from anything that you've seen from my content, I'm going to keep going and keep growing because there is a group of adults out there globally that actually want to be their best. And so that's who I'm focused on. That's who you need to be focused on if you think you're going to continue to be on this personal accountability rocket ship, because it is a motherfucking rocket. It's not a train. It's not a bus. It's going from here to the galaxy. Then ride or die. But if not, and you got to get off, go right ahead and get off, because I'm not circling back. I'm not doubling back. I'm not coming back. I'm going from here to the galaxy. I'm going to break through the Earth's atmospheric pressure and go do what I need to do, because regular just don't fucking work for me. Okay? So you all go off. Let me make that a highlight just so I can let people know I'm not coming back for you. I know we say don't leave a soldier behind, but if your ass got off the mission and left and you AWOL, not looking for you, we're going to keep it pushing. That shit's not happening at all, okay? Go away. Get on out of here. All right, you all go off and have a great, amazing rest of your day. Remember to use the word of the day five times. Be ready tomorrow to answer the question, and be ready for your cognitive fitness, because it's coming and it's not going anywhere. It's only going to get stronger, bigger, better, badder, and bolder. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, the higher power and the universe, with some t-shirt on. How about that? Y'all take care. Adios.